Things to pay attention to within the nafs. Number one, the nafs forgets. So you always need to remind it. You need things to remind it of Allah. It forgets. What do I mean by forget? Not the memory here, the brain. I'm talking about the nafs. It forgets the disobedience of Allah and how bad it is. Depending on who you hang around with, depending on what you busy yourself with. And in time, naturally it does forget. When you have those whispers, you need others to remind you. That's why Allah says, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعِدْوَانِ وَمَعْصِيَةِ الرَّسُولِ. Assist one another. Assist one another on good deeds and fearing God consciousness. And do not assist one another on sin and injustice and the disobedience of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we remind one another. And part of our brotherhood is that we remind each other on how to stay close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how to not fall into hellfire, because we care for one another. Islam is a holistic approach. Now Allah had already warned us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the shaitan, وَعِدْهُمْ وَمَا يَعِدُهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ إِلَّا غُرُورًا. Now Iblis is taking the first step, which the debate, the first idea, which is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to him, give them promises and beware human beings. The shaitan will not promise you except false promises. You can never trust him. And so he used that. It's just, it's the oldest trick in the book for the shaitan. And he continues to use it with the humans till today. Just on a side note, I read about this past scholar. I think it was a tabi'i, it existed probably in the third generation after the Prophet ﷺ. He says, I went to sleep and I dreamt and I saw Iblis. He came to me and said, I'm Iblis. And I said to him, how is your strength against the human beings lately? And he said, Iblis said to me, before I used to give them ideas. Now they're giving us ideas. The human is giving the shaitan ideas. And truly we have gone way beyond, Allahu Akbar, the sins which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden. We've gone way beyond that. And then let me even start on how far human beings have gone with their imagination, colourful imagination in sins. Allah says in the Quran, وَلَا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةٌ وِزْرَ أُخْرَى. No person will carry the sin of another person who committed it. Each person on their own. You do a sin, I didn't do it, you have the penalty, I don't. And vice versa. When the leader of the family makes a mistake, then everyone under him will also falter. It's the lesson over here. Allah has placed the husband as the qawwam. In the Quran, Allah says, الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا. Allah has made the men the protectors and maintainers of the women because of some of the favors and strengths which He has given each one more than the other. Women have strengths that men don't have, men have strengths that women don't have, and men are responsible for donating and providing. The strength that the man has is that of leadership in the family and the provision. That man, when he falters, the wife follows in generally. There are women, of course, who are stronger than the men, but in general case, when she marries that man and she acknowledges his leadership, then automatically and naturally we rely on that leader. Every system must have a leader. And it will be unfair to place the woman as the leader. Why? She goes through pregnancy. She goes through menstrual cycle. In these situations, she is not entirely in her right mind. There are natural biological hormones that are basically playing up in her body which affect her decision making, her emotions. To place her a leader of responsibility in these circumstances is unfair. But the man can't complain and say, I was going through labor, I was going through menopause. And when we say that word naked, obviously some people, majority of us, we think, oh my God, this word, nudity or naked, it does trigger something inside of us. It triggers our senses. That's because it is our instinctive nature that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, that we are shy. We are shy. Even a child, 7 years old, 6, 5, 4 years old, wallah, even 3 years old, there comes a stage where they're shy. My daughter is now nearly 3 years old. When she wets her nappy, she's shy. And I think to myself, how can she be shy? I never taught her to be shy about that, but she's shy. My son, He's 2, 3 years old. He's shy. He goes to the toilet, something, he's shy. Probably my son is a little bit more shy than others. He won't even change in front of anyone. But it is an instinctive nature in a human being to be shy. You can get rid of that shame by committing the haram. And then Allah says, like zina for example, when you come close to it, it involves nudity. Allah says, وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا, the end road of it is really bad. Your shame goes away, everything. Every sin, my dear brothers and sisters, leads to immorality. It leads us to desensitization. You know what desensitization is? Like we're sensitive towards important things. Every sin makes you become desensitized. You no longer care about sins anymore. And even some people, they go very far to the point where it becomes very normal. Adultery is normal. Kissing a girl is normal. Sweet words in seclusion is normal. Forget about that. It's normal now, and I hate to say it, but now it's even among the Muslims themselves. Homosexuality is normal. Homosexuality is normal to some people. Normal. Desensitized. And I repeat, there was, subhanAllah, one time, I went to this park, took my children there, and I saw this little girl, said it to you before, about 6, 7 years old. She's trying to play on the monkey bars. Her mother, and she was wearing a short skirt, the little girl. And the mother said, why don't you toss over, twist over, upside down. The little girl said to her mother, she said to her mother, I'm wearing a skirt, mum. Meaning I'm shy, my underwear will show. That's what she's saying. Her mother said to her, don't worry, you're still a little girl, you can do it. So the girl now, what happened? The mother's teaching made the girl think it's okay. This is the beginning, the first step to shame, to lack of shame, desensitization. There is a combination between sin and immorality, sin and indecency, sin and lack of shame. The nafs, it is curiosity. Why do human beings say to themselves, I'm not going to go too deep, but then they find themselves going deeper? Because inside of our bodies, my dear brothers and sisters, Allah has created a test, something that we can grow out of and become better human beings, or we can obey and become worse human beings. It is curiosity and desire. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He forbids something, the curiosity of the human being and his desires say to him, why can't I? Why? Why can't I go and do this? Why has God forbidden that? I don't understand that concept. And so you find, for example, a Muslim sister refuses to wear the hijab because she doesn't understand the concept. Why should I wear it? I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. Tayyib, don't you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who recommended it for you? Shouldn't that be enough? If you know Allah, if you really know Allah, you will trust Allah. A man says, why should I pray? I'm a good person. Prayer is meant to make me become a better person. I'm already a good person. Tayyib, again, although you probably lack a lot of knowledge, deep ignorance in the benefits of prayer, at least, who is the one who commanded you with it? Allah. Do you know Allah? Do you trust Allah? Tayyib, obey Him and watch what happens afterwards. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ prayed even though Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had forgiven him all his sins, past, present and future. Yet he stayed in the nights until his feet cracked open and pus would excrete from them, praying. أَفَلَا أَكُونُ عَبْدًا شَكُورًا, shall I not be a thankful servant to Allah in the least? It's a secret. Why? Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests us so that we can grow and become better mu'mineen by forbidding certain things from us. You know the story of Musa alayhi salam and the cow? Tayyib, what happened to the children of Israel at that time? They were with Musa alayhi salam and the man was murdered. So then they said, Ya Musa, can you ask Allah so we can find out who killed this man? He asked him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to them, in order to find the murderer, you need to slaughter a cow. Ajib. You want to find the murderer? Slaughter a cow? In today's world, forensic scientists will think you're a loony. So what do you mean? Imagine that, you go to a murder scene and you're a forensic scientist, or you're one of those CSIs, as you watch on television, CSI, and you go, I know the solution. I think we should go to the farm and get a cow and slaughter it. We'll find out who killed this guy. Now, obviously you think to yourself, what's this? Allah says to them, slaughter a cow. Just like in Jannah, He said to Adam, don't eat from that tree. There was nothing special about it. It's just any tree. It's like saying this, don't eat from that tree, just randomly. It wasn't about the tree. It wasn't about anything to do with it. There was nothing special about it. But there was something else. want to teach you how can you grow, how can you come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.